Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Get in Tune. This angle feels a little weird to me tonight, but hope everyone's having a good time. I got a great show planned. Before I bring them on, I just want to say a couple of things. Today in the mail, I received the latest issue of A Kid in a Comic. All right, this is the last issue that my strip, The Whimsical Wiz, is appearing in. And the next issue will have my new strip, The Ink Fairer Draws, where I teach you how to draw comics. All right, guys, so if you want, make sure to check out akidinacomic.com so you can order your copy of the papers. All right, anyway, with that, let me just see something here. I'm just going to move my fans. I'm hearing a slight echo. Move this here. See how these work. Make sure they're not going up into the mic. All right, let's give that a try. Anyway, our guest is someone I've been following on social media for a while. I've been a fan of his work for a long time. I love watching his posts go up. He draws gorgeous stuff. I'm going to let him talk about it because I won't do justice to it with my words. So let's bring on Mark Wheatley.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing? That a try. Anyway, our guest is someone I've been.
There's
an introduction now. It's a very long delay, like a 30-second delay.
Yeah, what I'm going to do, I hear it now that I have you on.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna let him talk about it because I won't do justice to it with my words. So
what I'm going to do, I'm sorry. I'm muting you for a sec because I don't hear it now. So, do you have the show opened in another tab, maybe Facebook? Because this goes on Facebook, it goes on YouTube and Twitch. All right. Okay.
No.
What I'm going to do, only open here. Okay. I'm going to then give you the mic. Hold on. And then I'm going to mute myself and let's see how that goes. On Facebook, it goes on YouTube and Twitch. All right. Okay.
It's a very long delay.
Okay. I'm going to then give you the mic. Hold on. And then I'm going to mute myself and let's see how that goes. On Facebook, it goes on YouTube and Twitch. All right.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Let's not worry.
Let's see. Audio. I can try the other microphone.
To everybody watching at the moment, I apologize. Technical stuff does happen. We did not hear this in our test right before we came on.
Testing.
All right. Okay.
Not worry. Okay.
I
can try the other microphone. everybody watching at the moment, I apologize. Technical stuff does happen. We did not hear this in our in our in our test right before we came on. All right. Okay. Everybody watching at the moment, I apologize.
Okay.
We did not hear for this in our in our.
Okay. I just muted you again. And I don't want to do a lot of talking, guys, right now, only because I don't want to mess up on Mark's end here. I'm just doing some troubleshooting at the moment. I do apologize. Listen, Mark is a very talented illustrator. And I hope you guys stick around to check out his work. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm. I'm going to check something on my mic end here. Audio. Again, I'm sorry about this, you guys. I appreciate you sticking around to continue watching. I have you on mute. Give me a thumbs up if it's gone. Awesome. Okay. I put you back on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. Everything is fine. I am sorry. I don't know what happened there.
It's going again.
It's on again. All right.
Yeah. And I've got my speakers off and I've got the headphones on now.
All right. I'm going to send you one more thing in our private chat. Okay. Okay. All right. I sent a possible solution. Anyway, guys, while he's trying to fix that, I'm going to show you some of his artwork. Okay. So, as I mentioned, I want to show some of his artwork so you guys can see how awesome of an artist, if you're not familiar with Mark's work, while we take care of this and we can sit down and talk. So I'm going to be sharing the screen. We're on his website. All right. And I just want to, let's see, tour the galleries real quick. Let's look at some of his illustration work. Okay. And this is some really just beautiful, beautiful stuff. Before we go into any of the, being a fantasy person, we're going to open up his fantasy artwork and see what happens. Let's take a moment to look at these while I just pull up the next thing. Well, we're not going to do that. Look at this stuff. This is gorgeous. Are we able to click on any of these here? Wow. That is beautiful. All right. Let's take a moment. I'm going to hold another one up real quick. And, oh man. I wish I could talk to you right now about that piece. Let me just, give me 1 second. I'm double checking my stuff, making sure all my stuff is hooked up properly. Stable internet connections. Hardware browser choice unsupported. Outdated. Okay, network. Okay, you tried that. All right. I'm sorry here. Anyway, let me just talk about this piece real quick, because we're probably going to have, unfortunately, due to this era that's going on, which again we did not hear backstage. We may have to reschedule, but I'm looking at this piece and I love classic magician stories like Mandrake. I don't know if this is supposed to be Mandrake. I wish I could ask him. He sent me a message. Okay. All right. Let's just look at a few other pieces here. My God. Gorgeous stuff here. Wow. Whew. My God. Okay. Definitely wasn't Mandrake now that I'm seeing this. Dr. Yeah, I see it's from, that's all from Dr. Cthulhu book. Yeah, that looks awesome. I mean, I'm really into like fantasy, sci-fi, classic pulp stuff. I mean, and I wish we can really have a conversation right now. The stuff that I'm seeing from you and that I'm looking at. Did you go? Oh, you dropped off for some reason. I'm sorry. Do you still hear the noise?
No.
Okay, let's stay right here.
Can you hear me?
I hear you fine. I don't know what happened there.
Well, I switched to Edge.
Oh, okay.
Now, things sound pretty good, but it's like a 30-second to like a minute delay, so we'll know in a few seconds whether you're repeating on me.
Let me know.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So, first of all, let me hide this for now because I was doing this
Yeah.
just to stop right now. First off, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled to chat with you. You heard me talk a little bit, I guess, in delay of how much I love your work.
It was like something out of a dream.
It's so, I mean, I don't know how long we've been connected on social media, but when I think I probably friend requested you on Facebook or Instagram or wherever it was because I saw really cool art from you. I'm a big fan of like old school pulp, things like public domain characters. I mean, I love it all. I'll be honest. I love the world of cartooning. So for me, I don't care if I'm looking at a greeting card, a manga, a whatever, a DC showcase, which I got over there. I collect all those. Like, I don't care what I'm looking at. If it's cartooning, I'm a fan of it. And I understand cartooning doesn't just say has to be pen and ink comic strip or comic book. There's painting. There's all this stuff that falls into this like world to me of cartooning. And I see a lot of awesome work that you do that I just love. And a couple of things. One, I know I'm not at the same level of a renderer as you are. And I really appreciate what you do. Okay. And part of it is because I know I can't do it. The other part is because it reminds me of everything I just loved and grew up on, So
cool.
since it, usually I do this right when we start, but since we were a little delayed, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of like who you are, your work, so the audience, if they've never heard of you, they'll learn a bit about you that way.
Well, sure. So I started publishing a fanzine when I was a kid, and I connected up with a number of other creators of my same age and a little bit older. And I'm still working with Mark Hempel, who connected with me then, and John Workman and Bob Smith were in my fanzine with me. And Mike Kaluta sent, I met him early on, and he recommended the college I went to, and I was there with Charlie Vess. Anyway, I started a studio called Insight Studios in 1978. Mm-hmm. And Mark Hempel joined me in the studio in 1980, and we started doing a lot of advertising work. But we both really wanted to do comics, so we were working for Heavy Metal and Epic. And we ended up, our first big splash probably was Be an Interplanetary Spy, which was a choose your own adventure style book from Bantam Books. We did 4 of those. And then we did Mars for First Comics right after that. When from Mars, we went to Blood of the Innocent, which was Dracula versus Jack the Ripper for Warp Graphics. And then we started a spin-off of that, which was the Blood of Dracula comic book series, which ran for quite a while from Apple Comics, while we were also doing Johnny Quest for Comico. And from there, we did Breathtaker, which has gotten a lot of good attention over the years. It's been optioned for a motion picture and a television series. If we hadn't had a writers and actors strike a few years ago, it would probably be on the air by now. But that's the way these things work. Almost everything I've done has been optioned for a movie or a TV show at some point.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And the best thing I can say is I don't have any bad ones to show for it.
That's awesome. I mean, it's funny, during that the actors and writers strike, I was working at a online art academy that's shut down now. But I was a 2D faculty supervisor for it, and all all the artists that were out supporting the writers and actors strikes. I was kind of their boss for a while, but I was hearing some behind the scenes stuff of that because of them. It was pretty interesting stuff to learn about, because I never knew it from the actors or writers standpoint. And I heard
and I was really supportive of them striking, so it was a real mixed thing.
yeah.
I don't think they got what they struck for, unfortunately.
Not 100%, and it messed up.
Not what they really needed. AI is going to kill them.
And that hurt the artists too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of artists that, the school I worked for, a lot of the artists were, Disney, Pixar, all these high level studios, and it's, their contract isn't as good anymore, and they laid off a bunch of people. I knew a guy
only about 10,000 people.
Yeah.
I think.
I knew a guy. What was it, about maybe I think it was 3 to 5 years ago when Microsoft let go, like, what was it 3,000 4,000 people. One of the guys, he was a character designer for 30 years with the company, and luckily he could do other stuff, but he hasn't done any concept design or anything since then. And an amazing artist. It's sad to see stuff like that happen.
It is, really. I feel very fortunate because I started Inside Studios.
Hold on. Of course.
Boy, we have spooky.
What is
spooky
going
over there,
on
Michael.
today? Oh man. I don't know what the heck happened. My light.
Are we in poltergeist?
Hold on, let's get that light on. And all right, maybe I'm sorry about continue.
I wonder if I can.
What you were saying.
I wonder if I can switch back here. Let's see.
Oh, where's my?
Is this going to kill you if I'm working with the speakers again?
We'll find out.
Yeah, we can always switch back if we have to, I guess. Anyway, I've always felt fortunate because I started Inside Studios. I've been kind of the master of my own course, charting my own course over the years, because I haven't had long runs at DC or Marvel, but I've worked for pretty much all the companies at one point or another, and it's at this point owning pretty much 95% of everything I ever did has paid off in the long run.
Yeah. That's great though. Wait. I'm getting a little echo.
You are?
Yeah, but don't worry about it right now. Let's see if you get it.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was a pretty bizarre echo too. It wasn't like hello, hello, hello. It was like you talked a whole paragraph and then the paragraph started over again.
I'm gonna ask in our audience. I want to say hi to Dylan. Dylan, do you hear an echo on your end? Hopefully not.
Can he hear you at all?
Because if he hears it, then I know the audience will always hear it. It might just be something I'm hearing.
Yeah. By the way, I saw you pull out a kid in a comic.
Yes. Right there.
Yeah. So I guess not only should we talk about Pulp Fest in a couple of weeks, but right after that, I'm going to be doing the Wellsboro Comic Convention, and I'll be meeting John Carnicke, who does that newspaper for the first time.
Awesome. Well, we'll talk about it in a bit. Dylan does say he hears the echo. I'm sorry. Can I ask you to put the headphones back on?
I will.
I'm.
All right, I'm back.
Okay, I'm sorry about this.
Play like Gary Owens. Yeah. Okay.
So, Dylan, I don't have time to guess. Just put in the chat what you want to tell me, and I'll take a look. Anyway, just quickly, we'll just do Kid in the Comic right now. First of all, John's an awesome guy. You'll love him.
Then
But
how
yeah,
do
I've
you
been
know
doing
John?
this for 2 years. I've been in here with my
Oh, okay.
with my Whimsical Whiz comic strip, and I stopped it. And my new strip is about teaching people how to draw comics and cartooning. So
Okay.
and that's
Cool.
the one behind me, right there.
I had not made that connection.
So, but anyway, yes. So anyway, we'll talk about Pulp Fest. We're going to talk about Frankenstein Mobster. We're going to talk about a lot of cool stuff. So, first of all, Dylan, that is awesome to hear. Good luck with your project, and keep up with everything that you're doing. But getting back to you, Mark. So you worked for. I mean, you worked on a bunch of stuff. Now you said you own about 95% of your work, which is awesome. As an indie guy, mostly that's been mostly my career is working in the indie comics and stuff. Just
My lawyer and
Okay, I was
Lillian
about to ask-
Lagerson established the very first creator-owned contract for DC Comics.
really
Yeah.
okay.
It took them 14 months of negotiation, and that's how we ended up doing Breathtaker for DC Comics.
Oh wow, because that's what I was going to ask you. How were you able to keep all those rights? So obviously good
Right.
contracts.
Well, we didn't have to work because we had other jobs, so they could take 14 months to negotiate the contract. Usually they put their thumb on you because they know you need the money, right?
Yeah.
but you know, we ended up getting. I mean, the book sold great. They went through once it. The original thing sold. Each one of the prestige format books sold like 250,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and then when it was collected into the graphic novel, it was the first graphic novel from Vertigo. It went through 7 printings. And then we had Kate Hudson. She wanted it as a vehicle for her at Sony. And so she optioned it to make a motion picture. And so we got the rights back from DC and made that deal. And we made that deal on a Wednesday.
Okay.
And on the following Monday, Sony was taken over by a whole new regime. And all previous deals were put into turnaround.
Oh.
But they had paid us, so, you know. That's just the way the business works.
No, I know. When I was, God, had to be 2000, 2001. I had somebody interested in one of my projects, and it turned out they were trying to scam me. I was lucky enough to have a friend whose father was an entertainment lawyer, so he guided me through the whole process.
That's
And
right.
when I saw stuff, I'd ask questions, they're like, "Oh no, we don't discuss that right now." And I'm like, "Oh no, we do. You don't understand." And I remember in my email writing to them, basically telling them that I don't want to meet with you anymore. You have nothing of mine that can really be taken. I actually told them I find you to, be crooked. Basically, I said politely, and they wrote me, "Thank you for understanding." I was "Oh my God."
No. Well,
So,
I've met people through this process working with Hollywood that, within the first 15 minutes of talking to them, I felt like I'm going to have to take a bath,
Yeah.
But by the same token, I have to say, I've worked with some of the most amazing people I've ever met. I mean, I worked in network television for about 15 years, up until about 6 years ago, and did a lot of stuff for CBS and ABC. And I have never been treated better or known better people in my life. They were just absolutely a joy to work with. And one of the reasons I think is because of the unions they have, the guilds.
Yeah.
there was never a question that every time they asked me to do something, I was going to get paid for it. Right?
Yeah.
Where I can't tell you the number of publishers that say, well, I know we asked for the cover to be like this back when you took the job, and you've just delivered it, and it's fine, except that we changed what we want. So we want you to do a different version now. Oh no, we won't pay you again because we haven't accepted this one.
Oh, yeah, no,
Yeah, but they would never do that on television. Never. They paid for everything. And which is great because they never stopped with the changes. There was like one piece I remember I did 84 versions of it.
Wow.
And I got paid 84 times.
Is that something you could talk about, like what it was, or no?
Yeah, it was a pilot we did for CBS. I was working with Greg Garcia. He did My Name is Earl, Raising Hope, The Millers, a lot of shows. And he and I did this show called Super Clyde, which was about a kid who is his uncle was incredibly wealthy because he had invented silly putty.
Okay.
So he dies and leaves all his money to the kid, and the kid has always been a comic book fan, a superhero fan, and he decides with all this money he's going to become a superhero, and he doesn't actually come up with a good way to get a superpower until he realizes money is his superpower. And so he goes around and helps people without them knowing it behind the scenes. And whenever he's doing that, I had to draw like 7 minutes of the episode.
Okay.
Yeah, and we do pan and scan and limited animation and stuff. And it was fun working with him on it. It was the highest rated pilot that CBS had ever had to that point. And it had been specifically commissioned to fill out the hour with the Big Bang Theory. And if you know about the Big Bang Theory, the only reason that was on the air was because there was a contract with, forget the guy who does it, Chuck.
Anyway. Chuck Lorre, right? Laurie?
Yeah, I think that's right. Anyway, they had to accept it, or he could break his contract and go to another network, and everybody wanted him, right?
Yeah.
And so they accepted it. They had no clue what it was, but they accepted it. And it got on the air, and it was this huge thing. But their problem was that their audience died the moment the show was over. It was the lead show on like Monday night or something, and the first half hour of that night was gangbusters, and then the rest of the evening was dead because they couldn't keep the audience because they couldn't slot anything else in. So they went to Greg and had him come up with Super Clyde. Well, Super Clyde rated really high, but just like Chuck shows, they didn't understand it. They could not, they just didn't understand it. And so they had announced it to Variety, and Variety published that we were on the air, that they had picked us up for series. They had greenlighted it. And then at the upfronts, while everybody was waiting backstage to go out, they changed their minds, and they threw something else out there instead because they just had no confidence in what they didn't understand.
Wow.
So Greg, though, is a really savvy guy. He had also sent them a script for The Millers, which was basic comedy 101. It was about a family that argued all the time.
Yeah.
And that got picked up. So I ended up working on that show. And, I also ended up working on Two Broke Girls and, I don't know, a couple other shows too I'm blanking on. But yeah, so we ended up doing a second pilot for Super Clyde a year or two later because they came back and they were still desperate for something else to carry out the evening. and that one rated even higher. I mean, the cast we had was incredible. Rupert Grint was in it. Stephen Fry was in it. I mean, it was wonderful. But anyway.
That just sounds like a great cast right there already.
Yeah.
Too. Wow.
Anyway, we had a lot of fun with it. But, yeah. I still remember, though, there was one crucial thing, and this is germane to how we do comics, and you'll appreciate this. So I'm thinking while we're working on the pilot, and again, I'm having to draw like 80-some on-air pictures that'll be turned into very slim, meager animation, right?
Yeah.
And this would have to be done for each episode, and I would have about 3.5 weeks for each episode, right? So doing 80 full color pieces every 3.5 weeks with the constant changes, including one that went 84, right, which is more than the total number of finished pieces they needed, right? I'm talking to the producer one day, and he's like, I can't get this animated this week because the animation house we're working with can't keep up with you. And I said, well, I understand, because if this thing goes to series, I'm already lining up guys that are going to have to come in and help me here, because there is no way I can do this every 3.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And he was like quiet for a minute, and he said, oh my God, it's just you? He said there were 27 guys who were animating the stuff I was doing, and they couldn't keep up with me. Anyway.
No, listen, that.
Yeah. So this is what comic book people are just accustomed to doing, right?
Yeah.
And everybody else, and I was sitting at an ad agency one time with some stuff that I had brought in for a gig I was doing for them, and there was another artist waiting in the waiting room with me, and he's one of these guys that could trace a photograph, right? And I'm sitting there with my sketchbook, because I'm always that way. I'm drawing, right? Because that's how I kill time, right? I draw, right?
Same
and he's
here.
looking over at me. He says, wow, you can really draw. That's amazing. You can really draw. I can't draw at all. And it's like, yeah. See, but you can do that in advertising and illustration if you have to, because, it's all about the finish.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Yeah, I haven't done that type of work in years either. I've worked in almost every field, I guess. I've been illustrator. I've been an animator. I've been I've been concept artist. I've worked in video editing. I've taught. I've worked in puppetry. I've basically I've luckily been able to do work in every field that I've had an interest in. I spent 7 years as a graphic designer, doing in advertising and stuff. I've had a very fun career, and then I had the job I was telling you about closed down, company shut down. So otherwise I'd still be there, but I haven't had like a regular gig since October of 2025. So I freelance now, a little work here and there, and I'm pushing out my stuff. That's
I wouldn't feel too bad. I haven't had a regular job since 1976. Although I was employed by DC Comics on staff for about 1.5 years, but I never was actually there, because it was just a legal fiction, because I was working on a Batman 2-part story for Legends of the Dark Knight. And since I was writing it and drawing it, their lawyers said that I would technically own it.
Wow.
Because of the way they had changed the wording of work for hire. And so they had to put me on staff and give me insurance and all sorts of benefits and stuff, so that they wouldn't have to worry about the rights. And then they never published it.
Wow.
Yeah, when Archie Goodwin died, there were like 18 issues of Legends that went into a can, and I think they pulled out 2 or 3 of them years later and published them, and the rest of them were all in drawers.
My God.
Yeah.
My God. Well, I guess everything has some weird, weird things happen. I don't get it. Like things like that, I don't understand. I guess from that perspective, why they would can 18 issues of something.
Well, because they decided everything had to be in continuity.
Okay.
And the whole idea behind Legends was that it was these other stories that could be done independent of the regular continuity.
I get that. I get that now. I understand. Yeah, there's some decisions when I hear about them until they're explained. I don't understand why a company would do that. I always look at it as, it's a business. If you can make money off of it. But
DC Comics paid me somewhere in the neighborhood of $500,000 through the 90s for material they've never published.
well, I guess as long as you get paid, it don't matter, right?
Yeah, now I was paying a lot of other people because I was running the studio that was
Yeah.
employing all the people that was doing the work.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's how much money they dropped, and they wrote it off.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
listen, I'm sure we could talk about a lot of stuff right now, because I know we had an issue for about 10 minutes, and I don't want to keep you forever tonight, because I think this could turn into a 2 or 3 hour conversation easily, and I don't want to keep that. I want to talk about just the work that, number one, that I've been seeing, but I want to talk about the Pulp Fest. I want to talk about your upcoming book, Frankenstein Mobster. Which do you want to do first? The book or?
Well, first of all, I do this book called Frankenstein Mobster.
Yes.
It came out years ago, and it's since been adapted into a full cast audio play that's available through Audible and Barnes and Noble, and wherever you get your audio books and things.
Yeah.
That now is coming out in a new edition as a graphic novel through Comic Mix, and I will have advanced copies at Pulp Fest. Print gods willing. It's been delayed by unforeseen problems several times now, but hopefully it'll actually be out at Pulp Fest. If not, maybe a week later in Wellsboro. But
So when is Pulp Fest, and where is it again?
It's in Pittsburgh Cranberry, Mars, in Pennsylvania, and it is July 30th through August 2nd. And if you're there on Thursday night for the early bird stuff, you also are going to be treated to free. That's why I said free pizza.
Ooh, you always get me with that.
They have ordered 80 pizzas.
Wow. My God. So this is from your Facebook page, your Frankenstein Mob. Is this the cover for the?
That is one of the two covers. There's a variant as well, but that's the lead cover, the aid cover for the new edition of Frankenstein Mobster. And Frankie is a made man because he's been sewn together from 4 different bodies. 3 of those bodies were some of the worst gangsters who ever lived, and the other one was a really good, honest detective cop. So I created this character because Shakespeare said something like the best characters are the ones who are in conflict with themselves. Well, this guy is constant conflict. His inner voices are always arguing.
That's amazing.
You never want to know if he's going to do the right thing.
Yeah. This is great. I'm looking at this and oh God, who's the guy? He reminds me of oh God, why am I blanking on his name now? I can't think of the guy now.
I think of Lee Marvin a lot.
Give me a second. I'm just gonna look up his name real quick. And I'm gonna hate myself because it's an artist, and I'm a fan.
Oh.
Other
Other people have said Gil Kane.
No. Hold on. Oh, this you're gonna hate me for this too because I can't believe it. It reminds me of Steranko.
Oh, because he always wore a white turtleneck and a
he kind
coat. Yeah, and the white
also
hair.
the white hair going back when
Yeah, Jim is a friend of mine, and I've known him for ages. In fact, I used to play music with his brother, Ted.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But no, I was not thinking that at all when I did this. No, but you're not the first person to say it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
But yeah, no.
Actually, I based him mostly on Lee Marvin.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I love the concept. Now, I know you said you came up kind of with the idea of listening to the kind of the Shakespeare quote. Now, when you were putting him together, did you have any like historic mobsters in mind, or did you make them all up? How did this?
I made them all up. This all takes place in a place called Monstrose City.
Okay.
Monstrose City. Anyway, I'm all about the puns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I was doing a book called Titanic Tales. It was the first publication from Insight Studios Group. And the lead story was a graphic novel featuring the pulp character, the Spider.
Okay.
And planning for the second issue, I didn't want to do the Spider again because, as we've mentioned, I don't like not owning my own material.
Mm-hmm.
And so I came up with Frankenstein Mobster as a character to carry on in the spirit of the Spider. Which is interesting because Marvel's kind of done that with Spider Noir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now let me ask you, because is with a character like the Spider. Let me just ask about this. Now, isn't the Spider technically in public domain? Certain parts of him? No, he's not. Okay.
No,
right.
no.
That's why I thought he was. So I was like, if you did something with him, as long as you fit it within that public domain time, right, you would have been okay.
The problem with it is that some of the stories possibly might be, I don't know, they might be public domain.
Yeah.
But the characters are trademarked.
Mm-hmm.
As long as companies maintain, or individuals, or whoever owns them at this point, as long as they maintain the trademarks, you really can't. You can republish the original stories,
mm-hmm.
but you can't do anything except republish them exactly the way they were. You can't put new art on the covers. You can't, make it look better on the covers. I mean, you're really limited what you can do.
All right, because I got to look into this because I'm just curious because I am a fan of this type of stuff, and I was to my knowledge, my understanding, and this comes from just reading a few things and being in some of the public domain Facebook groups and seeing what people say. It was my understanding that if a character is in public domain, or their stories are, even if a company owns the trademark to the character, as long as you don't put the name on the title and you do your own stories, it was okay. Because that seems to be how like these public domain artists work. And
no, I think that the moment you would promote it or say it was in there, you would be violating trademark. You would be
so it goes
trading. You would be trading on their mark.
Okay. Yeah.
You see how that works? So here's an example. Mickey Mouse, the early Mickey Mouse, Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
You can do stuff with him now.
Yeah.
But Mickey Mouse is still trademarked.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, but the reason that you can do the Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse is because Disney screwed up. They changed the way Mickey Mouse looks, and that's the trademark they've maintained.
Yeah.
They didn't maintain the original look as a trademark.
Okay.
That's why people can use them.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense to me. All right.
The reason you can do Piglet.
No, Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh. Thank you.
Yes.
Winnie the Pooh. You can't put pants on him because Disney did that and Disney trademarked that.
Yeah.
But if you leave the pants off and just say it's X-rated, you can do it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Okay. I'm going to do a little more research into that just for my own curiosity.
Yeah.
So since this is a collection of the book, how long have you been doing Frankenstein Mobster for?
Okay, so I started doing Frankenstein Mobster as a daily strip on our Sunny Fun Days website back in the mid 1990s.
Okay.
Maybe like 96, something like that. And I was running Inside Studios, so I didn't have a lot of time. I was doing I was essentially Mr. Executive and Art Director and Editor, right? And so I managed to amass about a month's worth of daily strips, some individual illustrations, and a write-up about where it was going. And I had it in a folder laying on my table at San Diego, like 96, I think it was. And this guy comes up to the booth and picks it up. And I actually hadn't laid it out there for people to look at. I had been talking to a friend and had sat it down and forgot it was sitting there, right? And anyway, this guy starts flipping through it, and he's getting really excited and worked up. And finally, he leans over the table. He says, "Is this available?" And I said, "Oh, no, this is just a proposal. It's not actually a book. It hasn't been printed." Because, fans, they don't always understand what's on the table. Is have you published this or what, And the guy says, No. I'm a producer with Jerry Bruckheimer. I want this for a movie. And I said, it's barely anything here. I don't even know what it is yet. And he says, "Doesn't matter. I want it for a movie." For the next 10 years, 37 studios and producers and directors got in touch with me wanting to make it into a movie.
Wow.
Yeah. I still get a call every year.
And I've
made a little money on it, but that's about it.
Okay. I mean, it could be a cool story. Now, I'll be honest, I've never read it. And obviously it's in pulp style, but kind of like, and obviously target audience is pulp readers, but like what would you say kind of age group? Is it kind of horror-esque? Is it just violent?
It's a little bit cozy horror.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't make it really hard edge stuff. It's the story plays off of a lot of classic horror tropes. So you have this town, Monstro City, that's full of it's like the port of entry for all the old world monsters when they came over here from going all the way back to the founding of the United States. So there's witches and mummies and werewolves and were-creatures and sea creatures, and there's the whole place. It's just this where everybody is like the slums here, but it's also a mob town, and the mob really hates the monsters and treats them like crap, and they kind of run the town. So it's this on. I mean, the story I really always wanted to do and never could get to was about the Russian werewolf mob.
Okay. Wow.
So it's this constant interplay between the mobster stuff, and it's like if the Universal Pictures had been smashed up with the Warner Brothers gangster movies,
I got to tell you, this sounds right up my alley. Not only am I a pulp fan, but I love those old gangster movies. I'm a fan of the old Universal. Like, I don't like horror, but I love the Universal monster movies, and those are some of my favorite movies to watch.
King Kong is like my favorite horror movie because it's really an adventure film.
Yeah.
And the Frankenstein films, the first two Frankenstein films, with Bride. The Bride was the third one, right?
It was
Son and then Bride, or
no, I think.
Or was it Bride and then Son?
I thought it was Bride then Son. I don't remember.
Okay, well, I like Frankenstein and Bride. Those are the two that really, because they're all about the pathos of the monster. I mean, it's about him. We're feeling for him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's being treated wrongly. He's not a bad guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so that's kind of the soul of what I try to do too. I mean, the story boils down to a conflict between this good cop's daughter who's also a police detective, and him, because they're on opposite sides of the law now. And she doesn't know that this Frankenstein mobster has the heart and soul of her father. So,
Oh wow! Is there now? I know you said you're hopefully it's going to be released hopefully at Pulp Fest in when is that again?
That's the end of the month. It's
End of the month.
July 30th through the 2nd of August.
God, I wish I can get out to Pittsburgh for that.
Where are you in the world?
I'm right outside New York City, so
Okay.
I'm not. It's not. I mean, Pittsburgh's about a 3.5 to 4 hour drive for me.
Same here.
It wouldn't be a 1 day show. It's do I have a hotel visit, and not having a regular gig right now makes hotel visit shows not an easy stay. But is there a way like to order this even after you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So there's a new distribution system going into effect very soon, which is being designed. There's I think it's bookstore.org is in place for independent bookstores. So if you want to go online, this is not what I'm talking about, but I'm giving this as an example. If you wanted to order a novel that you saw on Amazon, but you wanted it to benefit your local independent bookstore, you go onto bookstore.org and you order the book through bookstore.org, and the profit goes to your local independent bookstore.
Oh, that's really cool.
Right? Well, there's a new distribution system coming in online that'll do the same thing for comic book stores.
Oh, wow.
And they will also distribute to comic book stores as well. So as an independent publisher, you can make a deal with this distributor. And it would be listed online, and anybody could order it, including any comic book store that wanted to order it.
All right. Well,
because the thing is, hopefully go live in about 2.5 weeks.
That is great, because I don't have a comic book shop by me anymore. I have to, everywhere I go, I have to kind of pay a toll to drive to a bookstore, to a comic shop. I mean, so it's not really worth it these days. Plus, I tend to I don't read a lot of floppies anymore that it's worth me going to a shop. I tend to order, online through other services and get trades and things like that. I'll buy floppies at shows from indie artists. I kind of try, when I go to shows, I try to support the indies, and I'll buy their floppies and whatnot. But yeah, this sounds like a book I would have on my shelf and would be reading at least a few times. And I'm sure, because I'm a fan of your work, I'd be studying your artwork too. Like I'm one of those guys where I look like, I remember, was it last week or you posted some Tarzan pieces you did? And I don't know if you remember this, but I just sat for like 10 minutes staring at each piece. And I was looking at like your line work. I was looking at that because I'm one of those people, like I truly love the art form. So I sit and I look at everything, and I try to look and see if I can find your influences, just coming from that. And I get the,
my influences are right there on my sleeve.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, all that line work you're seeing from me right now, I mean, I collect old magazines.
Mm-hmm.
I know I was doing a podcast a couple years ago, and I said that, and the interviewer was like, "What the hell? Old magazines? Really? Seriously?" Yeah. But yeah, I mean, these guys are, I mean, they're from the 1920s, and they have the best. I mean, the golden age of illustration was there. I mean, the guys who did this stuff, they really knew their stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You go ahead.
No, I was going to say,
like here. This is James Montgomery Flagg, right?
Yeah.
And he taught Frank Godwin, and Godwin is an influence on me. Flagg's an influence on me. I mean, but you look at enough of this stuff, and you know how how far comics still has to go.
Yeah, in what was it, November? My wife and I were driving up from Florida, and we stayed. I think it was overnight in maybe South Carolina, North Carolina, one of the states, and we there was a cracker barrel there. I've never had it. I said, let's stop. We ate, but right in our booth, right next to us, was old magazines going from like the 20s or 30s, and I just sat there photographing the artwork, because I'm like, this is gorgeous, and I started getting up and walking around to see if there was more of it in there, because you don't see that kind of art anymore.
Yeah.
I don't tend to collect old magazines. I don't have, but I really appreciate that stuff. I look around and I collect like, God, I mean, if I just moved my camera and showed you everything here, but I love, I'm a big like Hal Foster fan, big Alex Raymond,
Oh yeah.
like the old classic art. To me, those guys are some of the best.
I'm going to be posting something soon, within the next couple days, by Walter Jardine that will absolutely make you think of Hal Foster.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah. He was Walter Jardine was like the star artist of Australia back in the teens and 20s, and he worked over here for like 3 years, and then went back to Australia and had a very long career into the 1950s.
Yeah, I know his name. I may not be familiar with his work unless I see it, but
he could do anything. But the stuff he really thrills me with was he was like a Franklin Booth with guts.
Okay.
I mean, he used that same sort of engraving line of ink, but his stuff had, like, I guess it makes sense, right? It's like Crocodile Dundee. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it's just really good. There's a lot of guys out there you've probably never heard of that are just will blow you away.
I'm sure. Like I'll tell you right now, even in comics, I am so much better with their work than their names. So if you show me work, I'll be like, yes, I know the piece, but I may not know the artist's name, unless it's someone who I've actually like really studied, like someone like Hal Foster, where I have, what is it, like 6 of his Prince Valiant books. I recently got the the first book of the Hal Foster sketchbooks, whatever it's called. I don't know if you know about those.
Yeah, the second one just came out and it's gorgeous.
I know, I got to pick that up. But so like I love, like, I'll read those and I'll just look and study the artwork. I mean, obviously classics, Wood and Kirby, and Gil Kane's one of my all-time favorites. Comic artist wise, going even into the older guys, I can go into newspaper strips, and I really love. I'm actually a big strip guy over a book guy, so I love looking at the classic strip, especially looking at story strips over just the funnies. Like, I love the humor stuff too, but there's something about the way they drew story strip art back then that was just so beautiful.
Have you seen the Comic Strip Appreciation Society has been releasing a whole bunch of really great books over the last 2 months?
I'm not sure. The Comic Strip Appreciation Society. I don't know. I'm going to look them up real quick, and I'll leave the tab open to read tomorrow. But comic book.
Stefan Wood. Stefan Wood. Yeah. Okay. He's been doing these, and they're all through Lulu.
Okay.
And they are gorgeous. He is doing a beautiful job. They've been publishing Captain Easy by Leslie Turner, which is every bit as good as Roy Crane's version. Roy Crane is a god to me. I don't know if you appreciate his work or not, but
I'm sorry. Repeat who the last person was.
Roy Crane. Buzz Boyer, Captain Easy.
I know it in my head. Yeah, I'm. Let me look him up again. That's the thing. I know the stuff, but I'm bad with names. So I've always been much more visual, and really, you should see my grades in school. They weren't the best.
Don't ask me about mine until I got to college.
Oh yes, I'm very familiar with this stuff here.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Anyway, Leslie Turner was drawing just like him, and the stories are still good. I mean, and I've been waiting for somebody to actually publish these collections, and they're finally doing it. I mean, they put out, I don't know, 20 or 30 books in the last year. It's amazing.
Wow. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to look them up and look into seeing what they're doing, because that just sounds, again, right up my alley. I love strip storytelling. You know, I think for most artists, especially grew up in my era, I'm 50 years old. I think being a strip artist was like the syndicated strip artist was kind of the goal for us over comic books for a long time.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time on like studying comic strips and learning. Like one of my I had two pro instructors. One was Tom Gill, and the other was Richard Rockwell. So those were two of my instructors.
Very good. Yeah, you couldn't do better, really. I mean,
and, you know, you're talking about strips. I mean, Rockwell was on Steve Canyon until, you know, he finished it after Kniff died there, and and stuff. So yeah, those are two of mine. I mean, I'll tell you, the stuff that I learned from Rockwell was just amazing. And what was cool was I was doing it as I went to college at Empire State College in New York here. It's an independent study school. And I told them I want to learn comics. So what they do is they hook you up with what they call mentors, not teachers. And they kind of guide you through projects. So, and I won't say where he was or where I grew up, but he lived 30 minutes from my house. So he was like, and it was like straight up the main road. He's like, you know where this place is? I go, yeah. He goes, turn right on the house at the top of the hill. So I would literally drive to his house a couple of times a month and sit down.
Oh, that's great.
And we'd sit in his living room, and his studio was off to the side, and he would just look at my work, and he would guide me through what I was doing right, wrong, you know. And it was like some of the best experience.
That's the way to learn. I mean, as an artist, that is the way to learn. That is the way to do it.
Yeah. So it was fantastic. And I wish I got more time with him, but he was like, you know, I don't have really much more to teach you after the term ended. And he was like, I mean, he also taught and had his own stuff. He taught at FIT and other stuff. But yeah, it was a really, really cool experience. But yeah, I learned.
Well, it's great that you're finally. It's great that you're actually able to do a strip then for a kid in the comics.
Oh yeah. I gotta say, it's one of my favorite things I get to work on. And I wish I could do more. I would love to put out a webcomic regularly. Like, just do it, give it away for free.
Pretty easy to do.
Yeah, it's just finding the time. you know. Well. And I would, you know, and in my head I have a good story, and I want to do it very classic, and a classic adventure strip, you know. But I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully 2027 gives me the time, you know, to do it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, anyway.
I think sleep is overrated.
If you knew my sleep patterns, you would say that. Absolutely. I've had sleep issues for almost 30 years now. So it's nuts. But
my problem is I like to sleep for a good 9 hours.
If only I could.
I can't actually pull it off, but I like to.
I wish, yeah. Let me ask you this. We talked a little bit about PulpCon, but for those who aren't aware, can you tell us what the Pulp Fest? I mean, can you tell us what the Pulp Fest is?
Sure. So a bunch of guys in their 50s to 80s get together and get really excited when anybody in their 30s or 40s shows up, or the 10 women who show up. And there's going to be maybe 400 of us, maybe 450, and we just hang out, and it's the most laid back, old style convention. Everybody has a great time talking art and characters and buying books and pulps and comics and trading stuff. And I'm giving a presentation on Robert Abbott, the illustrator. There'll be a lot of presentations. PhilCon FarmerCon is also in conjunction with this. Philip Jose Farmer, fans of him will be there as well.
Awesome.
And it's in Mars.
Mhm.
And they actually have in Mars, they actually have a flying saucer in the town square.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah, it's a fun show. I buy pulps. They have Todd McNiven will be there with a bunch of dollar comics, and
Mhm.
there'll be a lot of original art that you can look at or buy.
Mhm.
And a lot of folks who write their own new pulp books will be there with their books, and a couple podcasters will set up and interview people,
Yeah, no,
and
sounds
there's
like.
pizza.
Yeah, I did one pulp show. I don't remember. I don't know if it was a pulp fest, if that's what it was called, in New Jersey. I don't know if you know about there was one that would go on. I think. It was on,
Bold Venture Con.
yeah, Bold Venture Con. I did
Yeah,
some work for Bold Venture Press. I got to draw Zorro in 2 books, and that was like a dream
yeah.
come true. I'm a huge Zorro fan. And
Rich Harvey. I was at Rich Harvey's house
uh,
ages and ages ago. We were having a pulp party before he ever did the conventions.
really,
That's how the convention grew. That's how it happened. We used to
yeah,
get together at his place in New Jersey,
I
and that's where I met the owner of the Spider, and
uh-huh.
he convinced me to do the graphic novel at Rich Harvey's house. Yeah.
Oh wow, because I actually have to contact Rich. It wasn't his fault, but he sent me some books of Zorro to sell, and unfortunately in shipping they came damaged. I got to give them back to him. So I'll what's it called? I have to reach out to him, but he's a good guy. I really like Rich a lot. And
Yeah, and Bold Venture is coming up in November. So
oh, are they?
yeah.
Oh, the show. Yeah, I gotta see if I can, because I am going to be away. I got a show. I don't know when the Bold Venture show is going to be, but I have
Usually the first weekend in November.
maybe I could do it because I'm only about. I forget what town it's in, but I think it's only like 45 minutes from me into Jersey.
It's moved.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
They had to move it. Yeah,
Okay.
the hotel they were in got torn down. So
Oh, okay. I'll talk to Rich and see.
yeah.
But yeah, because I have one show in November. I'm trying not to do a lot of shows right now.
Mhm.
I'm trying to stay home and build more product, so I could have
You got
stuff.
to do it. It's a hard balance to maintain.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, I got like 2 shows in November, I get 2 shows in October, 1 show in November, and that's it for the year, unless something strange pops up automatically. But yeah, I'd be interested in doing that. I have, but the last time I did the show, I don't think comics sold as well as the collections of pulp characters, and I didn't realize this until I did the show. But the Saint is a huge character for pulp collectors, or at least was at that show. Everybody was going nuts
Well,
for Saint
for the
books.
people that are into it, yeah.
Yeah, I
He
didn't realize
certainly
that.
is very popular in the world. I mean, having the
Yeah.
TV series forever made a big difference.
No, yeah, no, I get that. I was just saying. I'm like, I didn't realize how big he was in the pulp community. Is my thing. That was like the big event at the show. Like that was a character everybody was hunting for. So, but yeah, really, really, it's a fun thing. I love, the people there were great. It was some of the best people I got to meet. Um, fantastic. What was it just fantastic stuff? And I love that you work in that world. It makes me actually want to look more and more at your stuff. I was showing your website, and I don't want to keep you too much longer. Let me see. Where was your website? I was really impressed by a lot of the stuff that I was looking at there, and
Yeah, and I haven't updated the website.
yeah, I was looking at the illustration work here, and I was looking at the fantasy, but let's go to sci-fi because Edgar Rice Burroughs, that would have been cool to look at. Let's see. I love
Yeah,
this.
I've been associated with the Edgar Rice Burroughs folks going back to about 1990 when I became the editor and packager for Tarzan Comics here in the United States.
Oh
And
wow.
I wrote Tarzan and did a little bit of illustration, but mostly I was editing and packaging the books here.
Yeah. I got to be honest. This is one of my dream characters to work on too. Like I grew up on all that stuff that getting Zorro was amazing to me. One of the next ones would have been Tarzan. Um, this is
This is an interesting story. I wish it had happened. I was working with a group out of Las Vegas. They
yeah,
were staging a live 3D show. They were working with the Cirque du Soleil special effects team,
yeah.
and they had come up with a way to project holographic images that could be viewed from a stadium seat. So if you were sitting in the stadium, you could see trains traveling across the stage.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so they had licensed Dick Tracy, Tarzan, and the Green Hornet, and they were going to do 3 half-hour serials that they were going to be doing on this. But they could never get the 3D to be viewable beyond about 13 or 14 seats back up into the room.
Yeah.
Otherwise, and this is without glasses, by the way. This is
Mhm.
completely free view 3D. And so anyway, this was the poster to promote the project, but they never pulled the trigger.
Let me ask you, because when I looked at your work, I'm very interested. Are you all traditionally? Do you do any digital work or?
At this point, all the pen and ink stuff is on paper with pen and ink.
Okay.
Everything you see in color may have started as a drawing on paper and may actually have been inked to set the drawing. But from that point on, it's painted digitally. I
Okay.
did about 3,000. I figured this out one time. I did a little over 3,000 watercolor and gouache illustrations before I switched over to painting digitally. And I've tried to maintain that look with my digital painting style.
Yeah, it's really nice. That's one of the things I'm really like. When I look at your work, I'm like, wow, this is, and one of the things is I'm colorblind. So like when I paint.
A lot of comic books artists are. I'm
Yeah.
not, but Howard Chaykin is.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. He had to have an assistant lay in the flat color for him.
I actually do my own flats. It's the shading that I screw up on.
Oh,
So
now see, he was able to do the shading, but not the flats. That's interesting.
like I'll explain in a second, but like I'm looking at this and I couldn't even imagine thinking about how to go about doing this like digitally and bringing the colors in. Like I'll show you a piece that's actually behind me. What I do is because I spent some time, not long, but I
Oh,
spent.
here's a good example. By the way, if you look at those two pieces up towards the center, the black and white version and the color version, the
Yeah.
black and white version is the ink piece that I did to set the drawing, and
Yeah.
then it was painted digitally over top of that. So you have
And the
that.
digital is right.
Right,
Oh,
yeah.
that is great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Let me show you. So I spent a little time at Archie Comics, and I was a production artist for them.
My
So-
Marineck.
Yes. And part of my job was to lay in flats on the covers, but I never told them I was colorblind.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what am
Good
I
for you.
supposed to do? And what they did was they gave me a sheet of what the color codes were in CMYK of
Sure. Yeah.
what the characters were,
Right.
like, oh, grass green is this. So
Mhm.
I kind of memorized CMYK color thing. So I was able to flat because of that. And this is a print I sell at a show that I did. But the shading is what took me forever to do. I know I got a light reflection on it, but like the
That's
colors
nice.
are
That's
easy.
nice.
Thank you. So
And that's your drawing?
my drawing, and it started off as a pencil sketch. I photographed it, it blew it up in Photoshop, and I digitally inked it, and then
Yeah,
I did all the
beautiful.
colors. Thank you. Thank you.
So what kind of color blindness do you have?
I have actually
I mean,
what's
can you see?
I have what's known as shade blindness. So I see colors, and when they start blending together, I have issues. So I can see.
So you have problems with tones, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But it's
'Cause,
hard.
see, I'm all about tone. I could not work if I couldn't see tone. Everything
And
is
that's
tone.
and that's why my stuff is mostly like cell shaded. is
Yeah.
because
Okay.
I drop
Okay.
the flat in and then I just add either a highlight
But that's not the whole story, because your characters pull away from the background.
Mhm.
So it's only the gradation of the tone that causes the problem for you.
For the most
You
part, yeah.
so you can see a lighter tone versus a darker tone.
Yes, but also it depends on it depends on the color too, because I'm one of those people like, where people I get I'll see green, but or some people see green, I'll see it as gray, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have that issue. Same thing with blues and purples. So depending on how close where they are, I guess on the
Yeah.
spectrum, I have my
Yeah.
issues. But then as you go up in the tone of them, then it's like, oh, so I see colors when they're really bright,
Yeah.
you know. But even traffic lights for me, I rarely see the green tint of the green light. It's white to me. So I know when I see a white light, it's time
Yeah.
to go, you know.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah. So your tonal sense is a little off then, and that's got to
yeah,
be a really challenging thing. Yeah.
yeah. So I try
Well,
to
I don't see it in your work. I mean, that's a beautiful piece.
I appreciate it. Yeah, no, a lot
Yeah.
of people will tell me I color amazingly. They wouldn't even know if I don't tell them.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I keep my stuff as bright as possible, and then I end up and that's the thing. Like you said, my characters kind of pop from the background, so I always try to make them the brightest part of the picture, and kind of try to
Yeah,
have
but that's tone. That's not color.
yeah. I guess yeah, but
It is.
I mean, listen, I understand color theory, so
Yeah.
it's not that I don't understand how things work. It's
Yeah.
a lot of it is me calling my wife into the room, being like, "Is that brown? Is that brown? Well, what kind of brown you go? That's a lot of red in that brown." I'm like, "No, I don't want any red. Go over
Yeah.
here," you know. So
Oh, you do great. You do good. Yeah, you make it work.
thank you. I'm doing a few more pieces like that. I have a tabletop role playing game coming out next year, and that's kind of the style for the artwork for it. So
Do you know Vernon Grant?
Vernon Grant.
He
Not
was a classic illustrator. He worked for Disney for a while. He went on to be the guy who created Snap, Crackle, and Pop.
Oh yes, I've heard of it. I've heard of him.
Yeah, your work makes me think of him. And he had a very flat rendering style that I think you would really pick up on.
I'm looking at his name now, so that because what I'll do is tomorrow I go on when I open up my computer, I'll read more about everyone. I've actually probably studied him. I'm a huge fan of like mascots, of like of food mascots
Right.
in general. That was always one of my dreams, was to like create. Like I got to work on Zorro. One of my bucket lists is create a mascot for a food product. Like
Yeah, I mean, I looked at that piece you were showing, and I was thinking like Count Chocula.
oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I when I look at it, I think honestly, I think more like the Smurfs, but
Well, yeah, I mean, I can see
yeah,
that, but there's
yeah,
something
yeah.
in the expression.
Oh, okay, yeah. But that is but that's what I get a lot at shows when I put that piece out. People are like, "Oh,
Yeah.
did you work on the Smurfs?" Nope, another dream project,
Yeah.
but they're like, "This reminds
Yeah.
me of the
Yeah.
Smurfs." You know, like that's what
Yeah.
they asked me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, a lot of cool. Listen, you've given me a lot of great things to look up. Stuff I've been aware of, stuff I'm not aware of. But man, I would love. I don't want to keep you long, so I'd love to bring you back, talk to you about other things.
Maybe we could do a conceptual piece where it just echoes and echoes and echoes and echoes and echoes and echoes.
Listen, we'll have that fixed next time. I apologize. I really don't know what happened.
Well, I suspect it was the browser.
Okay, probably, yeah.
Because once I changed the browser, it started working. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never experienced that, and like I said, I apologize. And when you told me you were on edge, I thought you were getting angry. Like you were on edge. I'm like, relax,
sorry.
don't worry. So you're on a PC. I'm used to Mac. Everybody being on Mac. So
no. I invented a color separation system for comic books that Inside Studios produced for Marvel and DC and First and Eclipse and Kamiko and Fantagraphics and Bantam Books, everybody, right? And everybody wanted cheaper color separations for their flat color comics. And so I ended up, this is before computers, right? So I ended up inventing this color separation system, and we had to interface our equipment with a film output company.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were on PCs.
Yeah.
So when we got into computers, we got into PCs, and we've been a PC shop ever since.
Okay. No, that makes sense. That's great. It was cool that you can do that. It's you know, it's hard to develop things like that. So
yeah, we needed it.
but that's what happens. It's like what's
Well, it's like what you were saying. You know, you learn to do everything you need to do to get things done. You work every job. I mean, I really identify with what you were saying. I've done them all too.
Yeah. But I mean, it got me to where I am now. You know, unemployed and no, just kidding.
Well,
no, listen, I love what I do. I really do. I love that I could, you know, because now I am actually building product. I am making money off my own work, and I love that I can share, you know, my stories with the world, that people are enjoying them, and I love that I'm even freelancing and doing work for other people and helping people bring their stuff to life. So I'm cool either way. It's kind of like living the dream at the moment, you know, and I'm happy. But you know what? All the other stuff that I've done has led me to not just here, but have the skills and the knowledge I need to do this on my own. You know, I mean, I've worked in sales, I've worked with social media, I worked with all these things that I literally like need to do. So I'm a one-man show for the most part, but I get to bring on friends of mine to help me out and hopefully get them money too, you know. So bring on people I trust, and that's what I'm doing right now. So
well, you're doing good. So
thank you, I appreciate it.
It's been fun getting to know you a little bit. And,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll have to pick this up some other time.
Yeah, absolutely. Hang around for just 1 minute when I go off the air.
Sure.
Let me just pull up my phone real quick.
And thank Dylan, by the way.
Oh yes, Dylan. I forgot you're still on, right? Dylan is a regular viewer, a very, you know, he's an artist himself. And before we go off, where the hell's my calendar? There it is. Next week, guys, on the 22nd, we are going to be sitting down and chatting with Tom McWeeny, who is another talented artist and has some great stuff. So, but I want to thank Mark Wheatley for coming on. Where can people find you if they want to follow you on social media?
Well, I'm on Facebook. Wheatley Marks is my fan page. And I've got my website, which is markwheatleygallery.com.
Awesome.
I'm on Blue Sky too, but I can't remember exactly what it is.
Yeah, I'm everywhere myself, and I don't remember everything.
I'm on Instagram, you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again for coming on. It was great chatting with you. Again, I apologize for the problem in the beginning, but we got it going. We had a good, fun talk here, and again, I hope to bring you back and we can chat about more stuff. All right. So everybody who's watching now or within the next week or so, please, if you can, head over to Pulp Fest, check out Frankenstein Mobster. I think it's going to be a great collection because it sounds like it's an amazing story. And I look forward to getting a copy myself. Everybody else, I'll see you later. Have a great rest of your week.